A while ago, I asked you to send in some questions for a Q&A video. It's been a while since I asked the questions, and I thought it would be the perfect time to record a video now that I have changed my name on Instagram and on YouTube. So welcome to Books and Bruises. The first question I want to answer is why I changed my name to Books and Bruises. Well, the books part is obvious, but I got a few questions to why I choose for Bruises, and it's basically pretty simple if you know me. I am chronically ill. The Books and Bruises one day popped into my head, it stuck around, and I couldn't shake it anymore, so I decided to go for it. I divided the questions in two parts, personal questions and book-related questions. So I'm going to start with personal questions and we'll move on from there. The next question was, what is my favorite color? I had to think about this for a bit, and it's basically coffee with milk. Now, I know that is a pretty stupid answer, so I looked up the Pantone numbers. I am going to put a little picture around here. But my favorite color is something between Pantone 7572C and Pantone 7591C. So now you know. The next question was if I have any pets. I think most of you know by now that I have bunnies, a cat, and a dog. I think most of you already know Hazel. Hazel is a Dachshund. He becomes 5 years old this year. Hazel is my own dog. We got him 5 years ago when I got sick to give me some companion, and yeah, really happy we got him. We make a great team, I think, personally. So Hazel is 5 years old. He is reactive, which means he is pretty high sensitive. He has radius curvus on his front paws, which is why he looks a bit like a seal. And yeah, I think that's kind of the gist about Hazel. Oh, fun fact, he is not called like Hazel Grace Lancaster from The Fault in Our Stars. He is called like Hazel in the book Guess How Much I Love You in the Dutch version. In the Dutch version, the little nut brown hare is not called little nut brown hare, but Hazel. So, not Hazel Grace Lancaster. Next to that, we have Obi. Obi is a stray cat we picked off the streets 3 years ago, I think. He is estimated to be around 10 years old, maybe 12, we don't know. He has a crooked ear and he has rheumatoid arthritis in his hips. So he's a bit of a care baby too. Then the last two animals are our two bunnies. The first bunny is Pumpkin. He came around in photos a lot before. Pumpkin has been with us for about 3 years also, I think. We originally adopted Pumpkin with his brother, Spice. I know, very original. Sadly enough, Spice died last year. So Pumpkin was alone. Pumpkin is not a social baby. So we kept him alone. He's a household bunny, so he wanders around the house a lot and he plays a lot with Hazel. So he actually didn't need another bunny. But then a few weeks ago, we found Mellow, our new bunny, on the streets, and we decided to adopt him and keep him. We still have to be introduced to each other. We are taking it slow as Pumpkin is a bit bossy, and I don't want to go too fast. I don't want to risk them not getting along. The next question was my favorite movie. My all-time favorite movie would be Coraline. I fall asleep to it every single night. But my second favorite movie is Into the Wild. What's my favorite book? I think at the moment Crown of Crowns, but it changes a lot. I never stick to the same favorite book. I haven't found a book yet that really means so much to me that keeps being my favorite book. Which places would you like to visit? Um, First things first, I hate flying. I hate being on a plane. I've only done it once and I don't want to do it again, but I would really like to visit Japan and Rome and London and might even want to go to New York. So I'll have to one day. What's in your bag? I didn't bring my bag with me to record this and I'm too lazy to get it. But I basically use a Lush tote bag, which is really big, and that's a problem. I keep way too many receipts. Next to that, I always have my wallet with me, obviously. Given the circumstances, I always carry a mouth mask with me. I always carry disinfectant with me. I always carry my inhaler with me as I have asthma. And I think that's about it. Maybe deodorant a lot of the time too, but mostly way too many receipts. What's your favorite hobby? Now that's a hard one. But I think the overall clue to what makes me me is drawing, so I'm going to choose that. But it also means journaling and digital drawing and anything around it. What did you study at school? I studied publicity, which basically means that I learned everything about building a brand, about color coding and photography. Um, yeah, mostly that. I feel like it shows a lot of my decisions around my Instagram and my YouTube. But yeah. Did you ever consider writing? Yes and no. I wouldn't do it now, um, but I was really good in languages and yeah, mostly Dutch. When I was little, I did take part in a few contests and I was pretty good at it, but I don't think I would do it again. This is a fun one. Favorite style of tattoos? Traditional. Always traditional. I only have two traditional pieces, I think, but they are my favorites. Worst meal you've ever eaten? And this is a funny one because I'm not sure if I am going to pronounce it right, but mussels. I absolutely hate it. My grandparents used to take me to the sea. Well, take our whole family to the sea once a year on vacation, and it was a tradition to go and eat mussels on one of the first days and one of the last days, and I never liked it. Never. It's the absolute worst. That takes me to another question too. My favorite childhood memory is actually the vacations we took to the sea. We actually rented a little house which we stayed at with the whole family, so my nieces and cousins, and I absolutely love it. This is a fun one too. Who would you invite to your fantasy dinner party? I am going to make it a really weird dinner party, but Tyler Joseph from Time on Pilots and Frida Kahlo. They're both people I really look up to. I really, really love the music of 21 Pilots, and Frida Kahlo is actually the artist that inspired me a lot. I have her tattooed too, so. Okay, let's move on to the book questions. Most disappointing book so far? The Marriage Plot. I don't have to think twice. It was absolute shit. Any obscure, not as popular, but that you loved books you'd recommend? I think I'm going to go with the book that I'm reading at the moment, To Kill a Kingdom, but I've seen on Goodreads that it is pretty popular and it has a lot of reviews, but I haven't seen it come around that much yet, so maybe it's just me. I'm currently reading it and I am absolutely loving it, so I might change my mind once I finish it and the ending absolutely sucks, but I have high hopes. You can only save 3 books from a fire. Which ones do you choose and why? Now, I've wrote this down because I know I'm going to forget it. So give me a second. The first book I would choose is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, and simply because it's a book that got me into reading again at the end of December last year. I really resonated with it, and I feel like it gave me a lot of insights about my own anxiety. The second book is Heartless by Marissa Meyer, which is also my best book that I read in 2020. Somebody else asked that question. Just simply because it really made me fall in love with fantasy more. I don't know, it feels like it's a bit stupid to choose that as one of my favorite books, as it is a retelling of an original story, but I really loved it. And the third book would be The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil, I think she's called. Simply because it made me realize that the best part about mystery books for me is the fact that it's an historical fiction too. She created a really beautiful world, and yeah, I love it a lot. What have we left? I think we have only one question left. This is a bit less of a book-related question, but more Instagram-related question. What's your usual process of taking your Insta photos? Well, this question was asked when I still did my old feed style. So I'm going to answer it that way, but I'll talk a bit more about what I do now too. So I'm going to go to my Instagram. I am going to scroll down to my more old feed. So yeah, the basic stuff about my feed is that I try to always use the same sweater in my background, as I like cohesive feed. To answer a question that is probably going through your head, I never wear the sweater because I always need it. It sucks. I try to use the same colors mostly, and I always try to use the same couple of candles too. And then it's pretty simple. I go to VSCO or VSCO, whatever you want to call it, and I have a preset made. I'm going to scroll down because it's been a while. And I basically copy it, paste it, and done. And that's it. So I recently changed my preset, though I have tried a lot of things that you will see on the screen. But yeah, I recently changed my way of editing. I just made another preset that I copy and paste all the time, and now I mostly try to stick to the same colors and the same vibe. But I changed it because I wanted more freedom in it, and I felt like, I don't know, I felt restricted. If I wasn't at home and I had an idea for a picture, I couldn't post it because it didn't match my feed, and just, I don't know, it limited me. So I hope I can stick to this feed, but we'll see. And that was it. I hope you liked this video. I hope it gave you a bit of an insight about who I am and why I do what I do. But yeah, I am really happy with the questions that I got. I really like doing this, so I might redo this in a few months. I don't know, we'll see. And that's about it. I hope you don't mind the changes too hard, and welcome to this new chapter, Books and Bruises. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!